Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on my channel. Now for today's book review, we are going to be reviewing the third book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lyla Sage. This is Lost and Lassoed. Now, this book was also fantastic. Every book I have read in the series has been fantastic, including the fourth and final book, which will be my next review, so stay tuned for that video. But I'm just going to give you a breakdown of my star rating, some of the major tropes in this book, and then I'll go into detail about the story and what I enjoyed about it. So I would give this one a solid 5 stars. Every book I've read in this series so far has been 5 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed them. Some of the major tropes in this one are enemies to lovers, forced proximity, which I'm a sucker for good forced proximity, and this has it. Single father is also, with a young daughter, is also a trope, as well as best friend's brother. So let's get into the characters. So we have Teddy Anderson, who is best friends with Emmy Ryder from book 1, and then you have Gus Ryder, who is the brother to both Emmy Ryder and Weston Ryder from book 2. And he's also a single father to a 6-year-old girl who he had with Camille Ashwood from like a one night stand, and they were never actually together, but they co-parent and they're like really good friends. But basically the story starts with Teddy Anderson and Gus Ryder going to help Emmy and Luke Brooks clean up their the bar that Luke Brooks owned, because he wants to put in a mechanical bull that people can ride. So he wants to open the upstairs so that people can sit upstairs and drink upstairs, which the upstairs haven't been open. So they're helping. Gus Ryder and Luke Brooks are in the basement working on that, and then Emmy and Teddy Anderson are upstairs on the second floor cleaning that out. And then Teddy Anderson brings some boxes downstairs, and she's like kind of nervous of the basement. She's like, oh, there could be like demons or ghosts down here. And so she hears some rustling and quickly moves into a closet and accidentally locks herself in the closet. And then in the closet is Gus Ryder, because he wanted to avoid Teddy Anderson so much. So he's in the closet and he's upset, and she rips her jacket on like the door handle or something. Eventually they get out, and people are like, oh my goodness, thank goodness you guys survived and didn't go at each other too much. And then later on we learn that Teddy Anderson loses her job at the clothing store that she worked at and also sold some of her clothes at, because the owner sold like the rights to the name, and so she wanted to like move on from this, so she's closing down the business, and so Teddy Anderson is out of a job. And then at one of the family dinners, they tell Gus Ryder, like, hey, you're doing a lot. Especially now that your daughter's mother is away on an internship for the summer, so you have your daughter full time, and so you're taking on a lot. You need to like take a rest, take a break, and maybe you need help. And so maybe you need somebody to watch your daughter on the days that normally her mother would, so that you have a little bit more, like, you're not trying to do everything, because he also is basically like the foreman of the ranch. Even though his father is still around and owns the ranch, he's basically like the foreman. So what happens is Emmy, his sister, recommends Teddy to watch his daughter, and he was like, I don't want that. She usually like, Teddy's out of a job, needs a job, it'll give her something for the summer. And he was like, well, I don't want that. He was like, I don't want Teddy, who basically he hates in the story, to watch his daughter. But then they convince him, like, you need the help, like Teddy would be good. And so then he agrees to it, and they agree, and then he meets Teddy at his place, and they agree to like the terms, and they agree to like how much she'll be paid and like what day she works. And then he was like, it'd be easier for you rather than to have to drive over every morning to the day that you're working, the nights like before the days you work here, that you stay. So he's like, I'll make up the guest bedroom. And so she stays like Sunday nights, because technically she works Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, watching his daughter while he works on the ranch. So she stays over, obviously, Sundays, Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and then leaves to go back home on Wednesdays. She leaves to go back home to live with her father, who is sick and like not doing the best health-wise. So she's nervous about like not living here, at home full time. But I think her father like encourages her with his job and everything. So she ends up watching his daughter and is getting a really close bond with his daughter, and they're doing a lot of fun things. And he just gets to see sort of how she interacts with his daughter, and his opinion of her just like softens. and he's just like sort of getting out of this I hate her relationship and maybe more of like a I have feelings for her relationship. So then they end up, there's one night where they end up kissing. It's a night where he's talking about like him talking about his daughter and how she sleeps in like this similar position to like how Emmy would sleep when she was younger and how it can't be comfortable. Then he tells like Teddy, like, oh, why don't you come upstairs and see? She's probably sleeping in this super weird position that like I don't understand how that could be comfortable. So he pulls her and grabs her by the hand, and they go into his daughter's bedroom and sees Riley is his daughter's name, by the way, in Riley's bedroom. And then after leaving that bedroom and seeing like, oh, she's sleeping in that super weird, how could it be comfortable position, they end up sharing a kiss, and then like a passionate one. Then eventually she pushes him away and she's like, I can't do this. And so then we still like, I think at that point, it's shortly after that we learn what happened. So basically, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago from that kiss that we saw 7 or 8 years ago. They were in like a bar. Like I don't think they were together, but they were in a bar, and I think she wanted to leave or he wanted to leave or something. But anyway, they left like out of the bar together, and then they kissed, and afterwards I think he kind of like regretted it because he knew it was his sister's best friend, and I guess he thought he shouldn't have done that. So I don't think he like actually like regretted kissing her and what that did, but just more like regretted that it was like his sister's best friend, and maybe he shouldn't have done that. And so he tells her like I think the following day or maybe even the same day, I don't remember, like oh, just forget this happened. And then later on, he kind of like, I think it was the following chapter after we see the flashback, he kind of asked like, oh, is she upset because I told her to like forget it the first time we kissed like 7 years ago? And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, sir, yes, you don't kiss a woman passionately and then tell her to forget it and then think she's not going to be upset. Like that's just not, no. So that is sort of why they had like the hate relationship, and it sort of makes sense. Like I think their hate relationship would have been extreme. I think just her sort of interacting with him not as much, rather than just giving like constant insults. But obviously the insults like add to it, and I think they add to the story and they add to who they were as characters in these books. So that is sort of what led, sorry, I'm moving my camera. So that is sort of what led to their like hate relationship. But eventually they become lovers and the story, and he sort of sees how she interacts with his daughter and just like loves that so much, and also like starting to have feelings for her because obviously it's forced proximity because she stayed over at his place. And then the mother of his child, Camille Ashwood, finds out and is like, you know what, I actually think Teddy would be great, and she would be a great person to add to like the co-parenting mix, and she had like no issues. And so he just sort of feels like, okay, like her being added to the co-parenting, like that's fine, and then that sort of allows them to have a relationship. And then I believe it's in the epilogue that it happened, where like they get engaged, they go into a town to get her sewing machine fixed, and they go to like either a pawn shop or a thrift shop, and she tries on a ring, and she tries it on every like other fingers other than a ring finger, and it doesn't fit, but she really loves it. And he just gets down on one knee on the spot with the ring and proposes to her, and it like nicely fits on her ring finger. So I thought that this was a good story. I thought like it's a little bit of like a slow burn, but like in a good way. I think the way the story progressed is really great, and it was one of my favorite. Like the whole series has been fantastic. So stay tuned for my review of the final book, because that's going to be a really good review because it was such a good book. But the whole series has been fantastic, and the way that every character is developed, and the way that like, yes, it is romance, but there is like depth to these characters. I just like, I'm interested to maybe, I know there's another book by this author in another series that is more like cowboy, like paranormal, which I'm not into the paranormal, but she does write really good books from the 3 that I've read so far. So I am just hoping that maybe that one might be interesting to read, and I might want to read it from her. But this is so good. The covers are so cute. I would suggest you pick up this series. They're easy reads because they're not like super, super long, but they're also just like the right amount, and they're perfect. So if you are looking for a new cowboy romance series to read, I would suggest you pick up this one. I will also have another video coming up after my review of the last book, of my ranking of every book in the series. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me by going to @romanceblvd on Instagram. That means Romance Boulevard. And @Romance Boulevard fully spelled out on TikTok. I'm hoping to get back. I know I've been a little bit off, but to posting content 7 days a week on all platforms except for YouTube. Here I'll be posting 3 days a week. But stay tuned for more videos from me. Bye.